Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is your last unit for Revelation, and today we're going to explore the question, what problems do revelations cause for religious believers? And you might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, sir, how can we actually look at problems that revelations cause? Surely these revelations cause people to be religious believers. Well, yes, that's true, and we've seen that with Nicky Cruz, and we've seen it with Sally McCloy. There's these wonderful events that seemingly make people religious believers. But here, we're going to really look at why some people, some religious believers, some theists, revelations, there's a problem with them. The first one, number one, we're going to look at is the idea of different religions. Now, as you know, there's hundreds of different religions in the world, 12 main ones, but loads of different ones. And the idea is if God wants to reveal God's self to human beings, then surely God, if there was only one God, would reveal in one way to a particular religion. And yet we have all these different religions claiming that they have loads of different, that God reveals to them in loads of different ways. For example, Muslims believe that the angel Gabriel, or as they call the angel Gabriel, Jibril, appeared to Muhammad to reveal the Quran to them. And yet in the Christian religion, we have the idea of the angel Gabriel, or, revealing to Mary that she was going to be the mother of Jesus. So, which one's wrong? Did they one appear to the one and not the other? And, if there is only one true religion in the world, then why does God reveal God's self to so many different people and so many different ways across the world that these revelations start to be a bit questionable? Should we actually question them because God reveals to one way and says to one religion that says his way is correct, and to another religion that says their way is correct? And even within some religions, this is number two, even within some religions, there's different denominations. Say, for example, Lourdes in France. Now, Roman Catholics believe that Lourdes in France provides people with the opportunity to be cured, but many other Christians don't believe that that's the case. The idea of Sally McCloy going to Lourdes would be, and getting cured would be silly for them. In fact, the evangelical Christians would say, no, Lourdes is not a place where revelations happen. God doesn't reveal God's self in Lourdes. It's just a figment of people's imaginations. So even within religion, we have a problem. We have a problem with which is right and which is wrong. Which goes to our third one here, problem with revelation, is the idea that revelations are actually unfair. They're actually unfair. For example, imagine going to a Benny Hinn event with the thousands of other people who go there, and you have a problem, you are paralyzed or whatever, and God doesn't cure you. But you sat there and you're witnessing on the stage hundreds of other people getting cured, but not you. Are revelations unfair? A bit like miracles, are they unfair? Or does it actually just say, well, actually, no, they're not true, and they're just a source of desperate and wishful thinking? Another one is Sally McCloy. Now, Lourdes is a place, as we've talked about, where people go to be cured. But actually, in the history of Lourdes, very few people have been cured. So why does God not cure all the millions of people who go there every year and don't have an actual physical cure of their ailment? But why did he cure Sally McCloy? Why is Sally McCloy so special? So some religious believers actually think that revelations are unfair in themselves. They're not a fair thing. Number 5, problems for religious believers, is obviously proof. Now, proof in a revelation, let's say, for example, the resurrection. Again, we could put it down to wishful thinking. We could say, wait a minute, the disciples actually wanted Jesus to be resurrected. So that's not real proof. And also, it happened 2,000 years ago, and all we rely on is the fact that some men wrote these things down into the Bible. But then you can even take it a bit further closer to today. Nicky Cruz. Now, Nicky Cruz was obviously desperate for a change in his life. Desperate to get out of the rut that he actually was in. And so, is that a problem with revelation, number 4? Does it require proof? And for Nicky Cruz, that proof was in that story of the resurrection and Jesus' crucifixion. And yet, that actually doesn't provide us with enough evidence. Now, the key thing with all these ideas of revelation and all these religious things, even though there's lots of these problems, is that most religious believers will say, well, you've got to have faith to believe them. Faith is the belief in something without any evidence, without any proof. And, you know, we all have faith in things. We all have faith that, you know, having an education will help us in our lives, which is why we're doing this homework, I would hope, rather than for fear of detention or something like that. So we all have faith in things, but is faith in those things that we have no real proof for? Faith that our religion is correct, okay, and that, you know, different religions' revelations is not a problem for us. Faith that God knows what it is that he's doing, so therefore anything that's seemingly unfair is not a problem. Faith that actually these stories about resurrections and Nicky Cruz are actually true. And faith in religion as a whole, that's what a religious belief, a faith without, you know, belief without evidence. But what I would say is, looking at it from the other point of view, is this enough? In 2014, is just having faith in something that we don't understand enough? Well, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, as always, that's up to you. What do you think?